Hi guys, I'm Han. Before I start my presentation, I want to ask you some questions about social media. Have you ever calculated how many times you spend on social media platforms every day? And since you are exposed to so much information, have you ever had a feeling of displeasure or discomfort? And have you ever changed your attitudes, beliefs, or actions after viewing some posts? The study suggests that the average time internet users spend on social media every day was 144 minutes in 2019, while it was only 90 minutes in 2012. People increasingly rely on social media platforms these days. Social media platforms like Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter in US, and Weibo in China enable people to access various and so much information in a convenient and fast way. Due to the characteristics of social media platforms like easy access, widespread, users are exposed to so many different expressions, which may be opposite towards their own. Um, in this way, they may have a cognitive dissonance. The theory I picked to test is cognitive dissonance theory. Do you guys still remember the fable in the textbook that a fox can't reach grapes high above its head? It will give up and comfort itself that it doesn't want to eat these grapes. This psychological activities in this fox mind is cognitive dissonance. It was raised by Leon Festinger. Cognitive dissonance is the distressing mental state caused by inconsistency between a person's two beliefs or a belief and an action. This theory has a 50-year history. It was first proposed by Festinger in 1957. It is a significant mark because cognitive dissonance has been one of the most influential and widely studied phenomena. It challenged reinforcement theory, which was a domain theory in social psychology field for a long time. And Festinger was also the first person who first raised the new concept, cognition, which opened a new orientation. To better understand this theory, we should know the causes of it. The first one is human beings are rationalizing animals pursuing self-consistency in nature. People may change their behaviors or attitudes to achieve the consistency between their cognitions and self-concept. Secondly, human beings have the sense of personal responsibilities for bad outcomes. So the thesis of my paper is to test cognitive dissonance theory, how cognitive dissonance theory can be applied to change the audience attitudes in a positive way in social media context. I pick Weibo as a specific social media platform in my paper. It is a social media platform in China just as Twitter. It contains personal and political content. So the pros this theory has. From users' perspectives, they can use this theory to reduce their displeasure when they are exposed to opposite thoughts. The mechanism they use is selective exposure. Selective exposure is the tendency people have to avoid information that would create cognitive dissonance because it's inconsistent with their current beliefs. For example, Weibo provides its users with several functions to select the information they are willing to see. Users can block the accounts that post the content they don't want to see. When people view their homepage, every message shows up with a function bar. In the bar, users can click the button with options showing that block this account, block similar topics, unlike this kind of message, or report this message. The system is able to remember the user's choice and will automatically filter the posts users can see. In this way, people are applying selective exposure mechanism to choose the information they want to see. Another study suggests that some people suggest that affective behavior was how people reacted to counter attitudinal information. Some people may choose to actively respond to the opposite ideas to reduce the distance. To reduce distance by narrowing down the gap of perspectives, social media users can choose to express their own opinions and persuade people holding different views. Expressing emotions can be an effective way to persuade others, and with effective expression, the gap of difference can be narrowed down. The other two mechanisms are post-decision and minimal justification. According to Festinger, post-decision is that people can experience strong doubts and internal tension after they make important calls or decisions. When people doubt if they make the right choice, they will seek reassuring information and social support for their decision. So from the brand's perspective, they can apply this theory to understand their customers' thoughts and predict their behavior to target them before purchasing and provide support after purchasing. For example, brands can launch campaigns cooperated with influencers on social media platforms like Weibo to use and review their products. By using cookies from these retailer websites, brands can target the potential customers who add products to their shopping bags and existing customers who have checked out. After knowing the target audience, brands can deliver more positive product reviews to these customers' social media platforms. Minimum justification is another mechanism to change attitude. It indicates that the best way to change others' attitude is to offer just enough incentive to elicit counter attitudinal behavior. I think this can apply on crisis PR for brands or celebrities. They can post a statement on social media platform with just enough punishment and apologize when something negative happened to them to change the audience attitude. Although cognitive dissonance theory by Festinger sets the fundamental of many psychological research, and it is a significant mark in psychology field, there are some critiques toward it. One is relative simplicity raised by Ben. He thinks the cognitive dissonance contain four-stage process is too complicated. There exists a theories which is easily to understand. Self-perception theory is one of them. It claims that the human beings have the nature to share the same thoughts and behaviors that most people do. And also he thinks that we can get this theory just by observing people's behavior. The other one is it is difficult to actually observe and measure cognitive dissonance. Festinger never provides a reliable method to measure and detect the degree of cognitive dissonance. Since cognitive dissonance is the core of this theory, convincing its existence and measuring its degree is important. However, as a activity at a psychological level, it is hard to test whether people experience cognitive dissonance and how much they experience. So my conclusion is that cognitive dissonance theory has more pros than cons, and it can be applied to change the audience attitudes in a positive way in social media context. For users, we can use selective exposure and effective behavior to reduce or avoid dissonance brought by social media platforms. As marketers, we can design more effective campaigns to target the audience by providing external force to determine their attitudes and behaviors. As the developers of these social media platforms, we can design and improve the characteristics and functions of the platforms to decrease users' dissonance and increase their psychological well-being. Thank you.